Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to a live stream that just followed a premiere. Let me see if everyone can hear me and see me well. If everything is fine, let me know in the comments. I'll take a look at my laptop to make sure that what you see and what I see is okay. Super! Yay! Our video is working, audio is good, and I see that everybody from the premiere has jumped over now to the live stream. Isn't this fun? Jumping from event to event. Ray, Liliana's here. Gia, is that Ajlal? Welcome, welcome. Tron, thank you for confirming. Jagath, I see you. Hello. Success Path, 123. All good. Everyone's confirming. From Venezuela, Maria's here. Thanks for confirming, Liliana. From Cacao, is that Tosiatunia? What a lovely name. I'm sorry if I didn't say it correctly. We have people visiting from Vietnam. Thanks for being here. Francisco. Glad you guys could be here this morning. Francisco's from Brazil. Well, welcome. And Sadatin just came from Istanbul. Lovely to have you join me. Fazel, hello. Glad you're here. Hey, Rotten Roses. Does that mean, sounds like a rock band. Rotten Roses. Is it Woodcape promo? Hello. YH is here from Russia. From Tula, good to have you here. Hi, Jake from Colombia. Winter in North America. Well, it depends which part of North America, right? I said in Florida, people have warm weather. They don't have snow, but they celebrate Christmas. From Haiti, Woodcape Promo is here. Rashid from Bangladesh, good to have you here. Viewers are from Taiwan as well. Welcome and thank you for staying up late. I appreciate that. Eunice made it from the premiere. For some people, it's the afternoon. Manuel, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. Bella is also here, as well as the special one from Algeria. Nahal came as well. Thank you, guys. I hope you were able to watch the premiere. If you missed it, don't worry. It's now a regular video. It's just a few minutes long to review some holiday vocabulary. And I thought we'd take a little time through a live stream to review some of that vocabulary and also tie it into pronunciation. Hopefully then this will be helpful for everyone. And if you're looking to get more pronunciation practice, especially feedback, I invite you to consider Patreon memberships. I'm meeting with a Patreon group tomorrow. My super members and higher will have a Zoom session. So it's not just me talking. We turn on their cameras and their mics and we have a 1-hour session together. We've been reading a story, practicing the vocabulary, making sure we understand the story, and we're going to have some fun with that story tomorrow, creating some speaking and pronunciation tasks. So if that sounds interesting to you, then check me out on Patreon, English with Jennifer. Emra's here, surprise, from Turkey. Oh no, Emra is from Turkey. Fazel came. Amal. So thank you so much for being here. I love to have other teachers join me. Nasir from Pakistan came. YW's in New York. That's my time zone. Okay, Ray, Larissa. Hi there, Larissa. Another person in my time zone, Ahmed. Is premier a French word? Yes, different words come from different languages, right? That one is French in origin, if I'm not mistaken. Nasir, I'm doing well. I'm glad you are too. Oh, it's the same in Spanish. Well, yes. These Latin languages that borrow from Latin, right? And from Somali, Mohammed. Actually, you're in Minnesota, so it's nice and early for you. Thank you for being here. Gia, that's sweet of you to say. Let's get started, guys. I'm going to work my magic and see if I can share my screen. And I'll take a look over at my laptop and make sure that everything is good to go. How's that, guys? Oh, you know what I didn't want to do? I didn't want to do that. I apologize. I think I'm going to disappear if I do that. Let me see if I do my screen share. Screen share, that's what I want. Okay, can you see me and my screen? I hope so. Jesse joined us from Costa Rica. Nasir, I'm glad that you understand everything. I am your teacher. I can be one of many teachers. I know there are many teachers online to learn from. I'm very thankful if you've chosen to make me one of them. Thank you. Okay, thanks for the thumbs up, Maria. Glad everything's good to go. Okay, guys, so some of you watch the premiere and you have that vocabulary fresh in your mind. Who can tell me what a stocking is? What's a stocking? What's a stocking? Just ask the basic questions first. What is it? Where do we put it? What do we put in it? Hey, Corey from Peru. Maybe you didn't see the premiere, but you still know what a Christmas stocking is. Mhm. Jagoth, I have some suggested books on my website. Just go to English with Jennifer and look under resources for students. There's some suggestions there. Manuel, you're talking about the three wise men? Yes, yes. Some people have those three wise men and they appear in something called a nativity. So some people have this nativity scene at the foot of their Christmas tree. That's another tradition that some families follow. Be careful, Ray. We don't say stalk, but stalking. Stalking. Yes, rotten roses. It's a long sock. It's a long sock. Not just long, big and long. It's a big, big, long sock. And yes, we put small gifts there. We put small gifts in it in the stocking. Good job. Well, we could say we put it, or actually this guy over here, Santa. I'm going to switch that to Santa. Santa Claus, where we say Santa for short. Santa puts small gifts in the stocking. It, yes, and it could be quite big. You're right, Larissa. Hey, Nicola. Yvonne is here. Glad to have you here. Tahiri, big is the key word here. Big. It's a big stocking, like a big sock, and you put gifts in it, or Santa puts gifts in it. And it goes on the mantle, right? Where do we find a mantle, or you can say mantelpiece? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Who remembers that? Some homes have this, some homes do not. If you live in a cold climate, you're more likely to have a fireplace, and then you would know the parts of a fireplace. Where do people put photos and other knickknacks? And in this case, Christmas stockings. It can be a tricky word to misspell, Larissa, mantle. So watch that, mantel, mantle or mantelpiece. Yes, Liliana, it's part of the fireplace. It's above the fireplace. It's like a shelf. I have a fireplace behind me, but this is a small one. It does not have a mantle. The fireplace continues upstairs. We have a second one, and that one has a nice mantle. So that's where we're going to put our Christmas stockings, hopefully this weekend. Right over the fireplace is a good place to put it, or a good way to phrase it. Over, it's part of the fireplace. It's over it, and it's like a shelf. Who remembers, how does Santa prefer to enter a home? How does he come in? There can be different ways, but I mentioned the main one, the preferred one in that premiere video. Another way to ask that question is, if Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? How does he get in? Does he just magically appear in the house? Well, no one has actually seen this happen, so we only suppose that we know. Mhm. So, how do we? There's the fireplace, and where does the smoke go? The smoke rises and goes where? What is that part called? Chimney. Yes, watch the spelling, but it's the chimney. So Santa prefers to come down the chimney. hmm we could say slides. He slides down the chimney somehow. Some of the movies have shown this, right? Like the Santa Claus down the chimney. You could say through the chimney, yes, but he slides down the chimney and then enters the home through the fireplace. Yes. So he does his work. He puts his presents out, usually under the tree, some of them in the stockings. It's a lot of work to do in one night. He's very busy on Christmas Eve. So, what do children often leave for Santa Claus to help him get through that long night? Who remembers? Maria, you're right. And if there isn't a chimney, he has to get creative. I mentioned the use of an elf, sending a little elf through the keyhole perhaps, and then opening the door for Santa. Perhaps he has a way to use, I don't know, maybe there's an app. Maybe Santa has a nice app for opening doors that only Santa Claus can use. Yes, chimneys are made of bricks, and they get dirty from all the smoke and soot. And he comes down, does all of his work, and then yes, Glamour Doll, correct, and Eunice and Jessie, Maria, good. Milk and cookies. Notice we usually do not say cookies and milk, but milk and cookies. It's kind of like salt and pepper. We have a way of saying one word first when we have those word pairs, right? So milk and cookies. Yes, Sherry, sure. Santa might need a little bit of something to keep him warm, but we don't want him to get tipsy while he's flying around with his reindeer. Tipsy means, a little bit affected by alcohol. We don't want Santa to be tipsy. So milk is a safe drink to give him, right? What do they leave for him? They leave a plate of cookies and glass. A glass, right? Mugs are generally for hot beverages. A glass is good for a cold beverage. A plate of cookies and a glass of milk. The other way to say that is they leave milk and cookies. So two possible ways to phrase that. My last question is you could tell me, hopefully give a nice answer, guys. Come on, there might be some young viewers watching this. Do you believe in Santa Claus? It's the spirit of Christmas. Do you believe in Santa Claus? I'm going to push this down a little bit. I hope you say what I expect to hear. He goes by many names, by the way. We can call him different names in different countries, but there is that spirit of Christmas that hopefully is easy to understand around the world. Yeah, how about a nice big yes, a resounding yes, of course, yes, I do. Yes, of course. He's legendary, good word. Yep, he's a legend. All right, so we have questions and answers. I thought what we could do with these is practice some intonation, but first we're going to do some marking up. Oh, carrots for the reindeer. True. Some kids leave reindeer treats, not just carrots, but maybe like granola, berries, whatever you think that reindeer need. Okay. All of these questions, except for number 5, are WH questions, information questions, right? How, what, where. Who remembers? Information questions. Should our voice go down or should it go up? Do we use falling intonation or rising intonation? Right? There are 2 types of questions. This is a yes-no question. Yes, I do. No, I don't. What is the difference in terms of intonation between our yes-no questions and information questions. Someone says, you love Santa Claus? I'm glad. Yes, Gia. Santa Claus travels. He travels in a sleigh, or he travels by sleigh that's pulled by reindeer. And there's that famous song that teaches us the names of his reindeer. And every year we have on TV, they show this 1960s animated cartoon, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yes, rising intonation for a yes/no question, but information questions are going to go down, right? Just like a regular sentence. I don't say the first time, "What's a stocking? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece?" If I'm repeating the question, my voice may go up, but the first time I say this kind of question, my voice typically goes down. It's like saying, "What's your name?" I don't say, "What's your name?" So again, WH questions, information questions that start with how, when, why, where, our voice typically goes down. Use falling intonation. Only if you're going to repeat the question will your voice go up. So I would say, "What's a stocking? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? How does Santa prefer to enter a home?" You should hear my voice falling at the end of each sentence. If you have more than one syllable, like stocking, stocking, with stress on that first syllable, stocking, I have time to step down, bump, bump. What's a stocking? Bump, 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 bump. So we can step down when we have more than one syllable to work with. For example, here's a good word, a shelf. If I'm reading a sentence or a WH question and the final word, the final content word is a one-syllable word like shelf, my voice glides down because I only have one syllable, one vowel sound to go down. Shelf. That's the difference between stocking and shelf. Either way, my voice falls. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, our voice will use falling intonation on the WH questions. Number 5 will use rising intonation because it's a yes/no question. Okay, do I know beginners? How do you know beginners? I'm not sure what that question is, Bigod. Do I teach beginners? I have beginner playlists. English with Jennifer, lessons 1 through 65. You can start there. Okay. All right. So beyond intonation, let's talk about thought groups. Thought groups are how we speak. When we have a long statement or a long question, we break it up into groups of words. This follows grammar. We don't have enough breath to say a long question or to say a long statement with that one breath. So we break it up into groups of words. This is short, right? So we can go here. Okay. What's a stocking? Here. Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? I might actually break that up between a conjunction because I'm offering a choice. A mantle is also called a mantelpiece. How does Santa prefer to enter a home? I might say it all in one because it's still relatively short, but I might also break it up after prefer. How does Santa prefer to enter a home? Because this is an infinitive phrase and it's kind of long. If Santa stops at home, how does he usually get in? Or if Santa stops at a home, I should say, how does he usually get in? This breaks up naturally here because we have two clauses. Hey, Saifia. Is it Safia? Good to have you here. So again, I'm following grammar. It's very logical to have a little break there because this is my first clause and this is my second. If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? That's a phrasal verb, so I keep stress on the particle too. Get in. What do children often leave for Santa? What do children often leave for Santa? I could read it all as one. What do children often leave for Santa? Or what do children often leave for Santa? Possibly, I could do that as well. Okay. And then this one has our rising intonation. Do you believe in Santa Claus? I would say it all in one thought group. Okay. So this is how I'm going to break up my questions. And then I have to identify stressed words. When we speak, we don't stress all the words. I just said it. When we speak, we don't stress all the words, all the words, all the words. I did not stress the. I stressed all in words because all in words are content words, keywords with information. The is just a little function word and it does not get stressed. So when you hear me speak, I'm stressing certain words. I'm stressing certain words. I'm stressing the content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. I stress these words and that creates a rhythm. When I choose to stress a word, if it has more than one syllable, I'm stressing the stressed syllable, like stalking, bump, bump. So here, this is important, this is a content word, and this is important. But only this syllable gets stressed. That's why I have bump, 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 bump. What's a stalking? What's a stalking? What's a stalking? Do you get the rhythm and the intonation? My voice falls down, bum, bum, stalking. And my rhythm is created by stressing the two content words, what's and stalking. Bum, 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 bum. What's a stalking? Here, stalk, stalking. Sounds the same, doesn't it? Stalking, like stalking. Hey, Joseph. Okay. Let's do question 2 before we get to answers. Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Which words am I stressing? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Bum 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 bum. Where do we find a mantle? Bum 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 bum. Do you hear it? Where, find. We're not going to stress a helping verb. We usually don't stress pronouns. We don't stress articles, but we're going to stress mantle. Bum bum. 2 syllables, mantle. Often 2-syllable nouns have the first syllable stressed. Mantle. Bum bump. Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? This is another content word. I'm not going to stress the conjunction. Mantelpiece. Bump, bump, bump. Which syllable is stressed? This one. Mantelpiece. Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? This is falling intonation. It's the end. This is in the middle. So I have this little break or pause, and I'm stressing the final content word before that pause. My voice has a different intonation pattern there. Where do we find a mantle? Bum, bum. Where do we find a mantle? Bum, bum. Do you hear it? Bum, bum. There's a little fall rise because I'm not done with my sentence yet. I cannot go completely down because it's not the end of my sentence yet. Where do we find a mantle or a mantelpiece? So this has the falling, this is a fall rise. Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? Try that. Okay. 3, listen, and which words am I stressing? How does Santa prefer to enter a home? How does Santa prefer to enter a home? Bum 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 bum. How does Santa prefer to enter a home? How does Santa prefer bum bum prefer to enter a home? Bum 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 bum. To enter a home. That's how I'm creating the rhythm. Enter, enter. First syllable, enter. How does Santa prefer to enter a home? Bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum. Feel the rhythm. Again, it's similar. I'm going to fall here to enter a home. And I have only one syllable, one vowel sound to glide down. Home, home. To enter a home, to enter a home. In the middle, I could use that fall rise again. How does Santa prefer? Bum bum, bum bum. How does Santa prefer to enter a home? Try that. In this variation, it's a longer question, but it's still a WH question, and I'll use falling intonation at the end. This is the middle, it is not the end of a sentence, so again, I often use that fall rise intonation to show that I'm not quite done yet. Some people might use a low rise, so you could say, if Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? Or if Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? There's different ways. Let's try this. If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? Bum bum. If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? Bum bum. And this gets more stress. This is my final part of the verb. This is how does he enter, get in, the phrasal verb, stress on the particle. Santa, bump, 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 bump. 2 syllables, Santa. First one is stressed. Again, typically what happens with 2-syllable nouns is the first syllable gets stressed. Santa, bump, bump. If Santa stops at a home, bump, 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 bum. Do you hear it? Bump, 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 bum. If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? Get in. Ba-dum. How does he usually get in? How does he usually, stress on you, usually, usually. How does he usually get in? If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? Remember, what are the content words? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Usually the function words are things like articles, prepositions, helping verbs. Okay. 4. What do children often leave for Santa? What do children often leave for Santa? Bum 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 bum. What do children often leave for Santa? What do children often leave for Santa? What do children often leave for Santa? Final content word, this is where my intonation goes down. Santa, bum bum. Santa, falling intonation. What do children, bump bump, children, 2 syllables, stress on the first, right? Children. What do children often leave? Off. Often. I dropped the T, often. What do children often leave for Santa? What do children often leave for Santa? I can go fast or slow. If you find yourself having a difficulty, then slow it down and stay in control. Slow. What do children often leave for Santa? Fast. What do children often leave for Santa? Try fast or slow, whatever you're comfortable with. And the last one, we have our rising intonation. Okay, which words am I stressing? Do you believe in Santa Claus? 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 Do you believe, do you, You could stress the pronoun here because I don't want to know about me. I want to know about you. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Do you believe? Do you believe? But it could be like really the verb and the noun here. Pronouns we generally don't stress. Do you believe? Do you believe? Especially if you go fast. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe? If I go slower, it might sound a little different. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Bum 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 bum. Do you believe? Bum 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 bum. You might have a little stress there if you slow it down. If I go fast, in everyday conversation, I would say, do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe in Santa Claus? Do you believe in Santa Claus? Santa Claus. Bum, bum, bum. Again, I have more than one syllable to work with, so I have syllables to step up, and that's how I rise. That's how I use my rising intonation. Santa Claus. Bum, bum, bum. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Bum, bum, bum. You can try that. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Yes, Ray. You can say often or often. Both are acceptable in American English. A lot of Americans in everyday English will drop that T, often. hmm But it's perfectly fine to keep it in. And yes, that's more typical of British English. Yes, Rotten Rose is a good question. If we're talking about something like a general truth, you could use when instead of if. When Santa stops at a home is the same thing as if stops, if Santa stops. And those kinds of real conditionals about truths and facts, things that are true all the time, you can use if or when. It's basically the same thing. I see Vlad. Is it Yeremenko? Welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Okay, I'm going to read those questions once more so you have my model. 1. What's a stocking? Where do we find a mantle or mantelpiece? How does Santa prefer to enter a home? If Santa stops at a home, how does he usually get in? What do children often leave for Santa? Do you believe in Santa Claus? Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to wind down pretty soon. But what I'd like to invite you to do is consider one of the membership, one or both. I have people who are part of both programs. I do want to go through some linking, but to do that, I need to talk about other holiday traditions. What I might do for my YouTube members is post some bonus questions that you can answer. And I might take some of those ideas and then create a short little task for my Patreon members. YouTube members, I post exclusive member-only posts on the community tab. So 2 times a week there are written tasks, and some of you do them faithfully. Some of you have yet to find the community tab, but please find it because you're missing out on some good practice. I post twice a week, but it's limited to writing only. I have texts and tasks. You respond, I correct, and you get feedback that way. The wonderful thing about Patreon is that we can have live sessions. We're having one tomorrow. I might put the information there. On Patreon, we have at least one Zoom session a month, sometimes more. This month we're having two. We have 2 Zoom sessions and 1 YouTube live stream. I try to make the times convenient so that everyone can attend at least one live event. We have people in different time zones. The other wonderful thing about Patreon is that I can do listening quizzes. I can share audio and video there too, just for tasks. So there is live interaction and there are very rich tasks between our lessons for further practice. If that sounds interesting to you and you are high intermediate or advanced, please consider that option. I do have other teachers who are part of this program. Most of them are at the higher tiers because they want one-on-one sessions, and we use those one-on-one sessions for professional development. So if that sounds interesting interesting to you as well, again, check out my page on Patreon so you can see those options. Okay, I apologize if there's some background noise, but in any case, where can you find vocabulary lists? I'm not sure what kind of list you're looking for, Rotten Roses. There are word frequency lists. Let me go over to there with webcam. Okay, are you seeing what I see? Let's do some final Q&A before we wrap up, and I'll try to address questions that were posed in the chat. Okay, I think we're good to go there. I'm going to go over to the chat there. So Rotten Roses, you're asking about vocabulary lists. Check out word frequency lists. Okay, there's some common ones. Probably the most popular one that a lot of students know about is called the AWL. That's the Academic Word List. And if you Google that, you will find the list. They break it down into groups of words, high frequency words. And these are the words that you need to know to study at the college level. They are more academic, higher level words, but there's another one called the General Service List. And those are about like the first about 2,000 words that you really need to know just to function in English. I use the General Service List when I create new readings for my oral reading fluency series. So if you've gone through some of those videos, you will note that those texts are generally easy because I'm using high frequency words. All the words in those texts you should know because they are high frequency words in English. They're everyday words that people use. So I use that to create my oral reading fluency practice text. But again, if you Google, you can find there's an older list and a newer list. So those two can guide you. There's also one, if you're still Googling along and you want to search, there's a university word list also for academic purposes. University word list. But if you'd like to see if your vocabulary is at the level that would permit you to study at the college level in an English-speaking institution, take a look at the academic word list and the university word list, and that'll give you some indication of where your vocabulary is. I've shared many resources with my Patreon members when they ask, so that's we always have a Q&A session at the end of the month, and I share as many resources as I can with them. So again, if you like this kind of experience and you've got more questions and you want more advice and more guidance, please consider the Patreon program, English with Jennifer on Patreon. There are different levels to meet different needs. Okay? Liliana, thank you. Okay, Sadiq, glad you can make it here. I'm going to wind down, guys, and invite you again to stick with me, subscribe if you haven't, and please remember there are more ways to study with me. YouTube membership is only $1 a month, and you can sign up at any time, and you get member-only posts twice a week on the community tab. So you go to my page and click on the community tab and you will see member only posts for you if you're a member. Post your answers and I personally correct all of them. Okay? And then Patreon is where you can get live group interaction. I invite high, intermediate, and advanced students to join me on Patreon, English with Jennifer. Patreon members who are here today, thank you for coming, and I will see you for live interaction tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Boston time. Thank you all for being here. Okay, take care, take care.